Hi guys, welcome back to our tax series. This is the second episode Hi guys, welcome back to the tax series. With me here, I have Daniel and my name is Tan from Student Survival Guide. So today is the second episode and we're gonna discuss about the first significant steps that you need as an international to do when you come to Denmark. When you're actually going to live here and pay the actual tax. The first step is actually CPR. So can you explain what it is and why is it actually important to have?
Yeah, definitely. Maybe just to you can say set the scope that this is, as you mentioned, when you actually come to Denmark and you choose that, okay, I want to study here, I'm actually going to move here and stay here for a good bunch of time. There are a set of steps that you need to go through to basically, you can say, be enrolled in the system in Denmark. And the first thing is to get what we call a CPR number. That is basically your identification number in Denmark, and it's being used for both the tax system, healthcare system, and other you can say both public services and also some private services. So CPR number is a must-have. And that is the first thing you need to get. And we have different places in Denmark where you get it. It's called borgerservice, and it's also possible to actually get at what we call I think we call it international citizens centers.
Oh yeah.
There is a set of things you need to bring with you to actually prove you are the person you say you are, and so on. But once you're there, there's always friendly people to help you out and get the CPR number.
And CPR is also the thing to get to even pay taxes and even get to log in. So that's why it's very important to have the CPR as number one.
Yeah.
So the next step is MitID.
Yes.
So why do you use it and what do you use it for, and why is it actually important to have that as well?
Good question. So some years back, Denmark, they began to introduce a more, let's say, simple system where you get one way to log into public services, platforms and so on, and that's what we call MitID. So it's basically your own password, username, and then a key card with different codes on it that you would use when you, for example, log into our tax system. It could also be used for logging in, booking an appointment at the doctor, or logging into your internet banking. MitID is a must-have also. If you don't have it, you're kind of like locked out of the systems. And more or less every system is running electronically today. So papers are out, computer and logging in is what you need to do. So
MitID is actually a paper in free fold, if you say it like that, where I think it's contained 160 codes. So every time that you log into it could be a government or e-tax for this tax series. You need to actually use that single code to access the system. So that is a must-have for sure. It actually took me a while to digest how to actually use it and how to manage it. But there's actually an app for it, Redeem Right, just not, where you can get the same codes in there. So that's very important, and you can get the MitID from online, I guess.
So the MitID you can online, but normally you can say when it's the first time you come to Denmark, part of the registration is CPR number, but also you need to have a bank account. And
that's makes us
first.
We jump into step 3. It's actually the bank account.
Yes. So step 3 is getting a bank account. You can have your MitID without using a bank for it, but it becomes, you can say, a natural part of opening a bank account and getting MitID together. And the banks in Denmark can actually create the MitID for you. So it's very convenient for you to select the giving bank you would like to open up a bank account at, and then at the same time have your MitID created with them. And then you can say getting the bank account, it's also a must-have, because if you don't have a bank account, you can't receive salary, and if you get a job in Denmark, hopefully you will have salary. But also because if you need to get money back from the tax authorities, as an example, they would need a bank account. It's possible to get money transferred to a foreign bank account, but it normally takes longer time and can be quite a difficult process. So bank account is also a must, and as the step 3.
So if we go further to step 4, and this is actually a lot of questions that's a lot of questions from you guys, especially the internationals that have been here for a while, is actually the tax card. So in Denmark there is multiple tax card and you use it for different purpose. So can you explain about what kind of tax card exists and examples also when to use what? I think that would be answering a lot of your questions out there.
Yeah, definitely. Let's just start saying that the tax card in Denmark is more or less what we use to inform companies, employers and so on what they need to deduct of taxes from our salary.
Okay.
And the tax card is issued from the tax authority in Denmark, but it's also very important to say that they only issue it based on information you as a taxpayer put into the online tax system. We will get more into that, how to do it, in episode 3. So for now we'll just keep it simple and say you have a tax card, and then go through the different tax cards that we have. So the first one is what we would call in Danish it's called frikort. And it more or less means that there's a specific amount of salary you can earn where you don't pay tax at all. So everything that's paid out from the employer, you more or less take with you in your pocket. It's very nice, but of course it's only a quite small amount that you can actually do that with. Frikort is normally only used, you can say, for teenagers when you have your first job and your salary is very low. It could be that you go with the newspapers, or you have a Sunday job at a sports center or something where you are selling popcorns or whatever it could be. So frikort would normally not be applicable for you as a full-time student.
And I think it run out at 40 something, 50.
Yeah, so frikort comes from an allowance we call personal allowance in Denmark, and that's the amount you can have is regulated annually. But I think it's around 40,000 ish.
Yeah.
So that means you can earn 40,000 Danish crowns before you have to pay tax.
So this is actually, frikort is not that relevant if the students are actually receiving ESU, because that's already above 40,000.
Yeah.
So that turns into the 2 other cards about a card. So what is that? And I actually don't know it myself, the distinction between the 2 of them. So what is a card and when do you use that?
So the A card and B card, the difference on the 2 is that on the A card there would be stated a tax-free amount that you can earn before you pay tax. But on the B card, you have to pay tax on the full amount that's paid out. And this is again going a little bit back to when you are creating your tax card. Every taxpayer in Denmark, we have the same personal allowances. We may also have different private deductions. Could be that you have interest expenses, that's a deduction. But all the allowances and deductions would together allow you to earn a certain amount of income before you pay tax. And that is included in your A tax card. So that means if you have an employer or you get issued from the government, when they would go in and calculate your taxes, if you ask them to use your A card, they would take the tax-free part of your salary, and after that calculate taxes. Let's just say that you have your ESU, but next to that you also have a job where you are getting income from. For you in that situation, it's very important that you tell your employer. So you get the ESU from the government, you ask them to use your A card. The employer you have, you need to tell that employer to use the B card. Because the A card can only be used by one company. if more than one company are using that, it means that they actually are using your tax-free allowance 2 times. And then at the end of the year, you would most likely have a situation where you have paid too little in tax, because more than one have actually been using that tax-free allowance.
Okay.
So as a thumb rule, only one can use your A tax card, and then if you have income from more sources than one, the remaining should use your B tax card. You can tell them which one you would like to use, the A card and B card, but you need to inform them, because your employer can't see if you're getting income from another employer, for example.
Well, I think that was a really great tip for sure, and I hope that it clarifies a lot out there about when to use what, because international students as well might have more income sources, and that makes a lot of sense when you explain it in that way, because I didn't actually know that. And actually also one from the team, Student Survival Guide, he used the A card multiple times, and that's why he got to pay back. So I think the tip here is to choose the right card, which is the B card, if you have income from multiple sources. Because then the idea is that you get taxed the full amount immediately.
Yes. Yeah.
Cool. I think that's clarified a lot, and that was a super helpful tip for this episode. So next episode is more about the preliminary tax card and also income assessment, because these are also the 2 main things in Denmark, that you need to have the correct income. And we will actually be more in depth about it in the next week episode. So stay tuned. I hope that this brilliant tip helped you guys out there, and we see you soon next week. Bye. Why are you laughing?